Hey everybody, yesterday we did a pH test in our garden using an analog meter. And if you missed that video, I'd like you to go back and watch it. Not just because it shows you how to do another type of pH test in your garden, but because I had an important message in that video about what we're trying to accomplish at J&J Acres. Today we're going to move forward with the chemical test to test for our pH, NP, and K. To do this test, I felt like a little bit of a chemist because every part of it had something different than the other. So pay attention to the details of whatever test you purchase, because they're probably not going to be the same as our test. To do our test, we first tested for pH, and to do that we had to fill the tube to the top line with water. Again, we used distilled water to make sure that our municipal water did not somehow affect the test. We added in one of the pH testing tablets and then 1 capful of soil. We mixed that 10 times and then waited 1 minute for the soil to clear. Then we matched it up against our pH chart. In looking at this, I think that the green that they're using for the 7 pH is slightly darker than the green that the water turned up in our test tube. So I'm going to say that this is just slightly below 7.0. Maybe 6.8 or so. Now we're going to move forward with the NP and K tests. To do these tests, we had to first prepare a solution. We did that by mixing 2 tablespoons of water, 2 of the solution testing tabs, and then 1 teaspoon of the soil. We had to stir this solution for 1 minute and then let it settle for a minute. Now we move forward into the nitrogen test. To do the nitrogen test, we had to fill the tube to the bottom line using the clear solution that we just made. Add 1 of the nitrogen testing tabs and then shake the tube vigorously for 2 minutes. After shaking, we had to wait 5 minutes for the color to develop. Obviously, I was quite disappointed with the results of this test. I never even got a pinkish colored water. It stayed a more murky yellow, which tells me that it must mean that it is extremely low. Now we move forward to the phosphorus test. To do this test, we had to add 1/4 teaspoon of the clear solution into the tube and then fill the tube to the top line with water. We added 1 of the phosphorus test tabs and then shook the tube until the tablet disintegrated. Then we had to wait 5 minutes for the color to develop. This was still a very disappointing result, but at least the water turned blue. Clearly the phosphorus in this soil is quite low. Next we move forward to the potassium test. To do the potassium test, we had to fill the tube to the top line with the clear solution that we had made earlier and add 1 of the potassium testing tabs. Then mix until the tablet disintegrated and compare it to the color chart. Unlike the other tests where we simply compared colors, in this one we had to hold it over the black squares and compare the cloudiness of the water to the chart. I have to be completely honest with you, I don't quite understand those instructions, because to me I can see each of the 3 examples just as well. So I'm not entirely sure what the reading is supposed to be for this potassium test, but I can't help but assume that because everything else was so drastically low, that the potassium is low as well. So here we are. We have now officially tested the soil and we know that it is in poor condition. So I want to ask you, what do you think would be the best way for us to amend this soil? Reminding you that we want to try to use things that are strictly on our property. Now this winter, we're going to add a lot of nitrogen into the soil because we're going to start putting chickens in there, and we're going to have adult chickens that are making good manure that we can add into the garden. But is there anything that we could do immediately to bring up the NP and K values to the garden? Or, if I want to bring these up immediately, do you feel like I am simply stuck and the only thing that I'm left to do is to go and purchase organic fertilizers? I appreciate y'all watching this. It's a hard thing to stare into the camera and tell you the truth about the quality of our soil, but hopefully by doing this, we'll show you some better plants in the future. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time.